Today, we're pirating Pete's life. So I've been watching Peter McKinnon for a while now. That's where I learned a lot about photography, how to use Lightroom, video editing, Photoshop. Recently I saw his video on product photography where he took a knife on a simple black backdrop and then added a map overlay using Photoshop. I thought this was pretty cool, and then I went back and watched his older video on the photography he did for a deck of Star Wars cards using some dollar store stuff. So this had me pretty motivated. I wanted to try something on my own, and I wanted it to be something, cool and unique. Now, I never got one of his pirate coins. They sold out before I managed to click on the link. So I decided to create my own and try and get some pretty cool shots of it. Naturally, I went to Google, which is what I thought was the best place to start. I looked up the pirate coin and I saw that the V2 was incredibly complicated. It has that whole rope design on it. It has the kraken, and I thought this was going to be a little complicated. I wasn't sure if I could get it to look as good as I wanted it to. So I went and I found a picture of the original pirate coin. Now this one's a little simpler. It just had the logo and the black around it, so I could easily engrave this on the laser cutter. And I found a picture of the pirate logo off of Google so I can get a higher resolution of it, and I went into Illustrator. So I took the pirate coin image as reference and I pulled in the pirate logo that I found. I used image trace on the logo so I can get a vector of it, and then I drew a circle around the coin that was roughly the same size as it, and then I offset it so I can get the concentric rings that you see in the original design. From here I used the original picture as reference and pulled the pirate logo over it and kind of scaled it so it looked about proportionate. Once I had the design done, it was pretty simple. I added some color so the Glowforge could recognize the different shapes. Basically, I made all the parts that I wanted to engrave black, and everything that I was gonna ignore, which would be the parts that would stay as like the original bear would be gold. And then the outline was red, since that would tell the machine to cut it. I exported this design as an SVG so I can upload it to the Glowforge, which is gonna be the laser cutter I'm using for this. So once I had that design uploaded, I chose the material, which is gonna be 1/8" walnut. I wanted something that looks as good as brass. I did a test cut using some maple, and it just didn't look as good as the walnut. Now that we have the coins cut out, here's the setup for the pictures. I have this Xbox as the backdrop since it has this grill on one side, and I thought that would make for some cool texture behind the coins. And the coins are sitting on top of my iPad, so that way I can get that reflection. Another thing I realized when I was doing the long exposure pictures with my phone flashlight was I got a reflection of the lights as well, and that looked pretty cool. So the majority of the shots were just pile of coins. Most of these are just failed cuts. And then I had a good coin sitting on top of it. I tried a couple of different layouts for the coins. I thought this looked the best. I really liked how it came out in the end. And to light this, I just used one Lux CEO RGB wand on one side, and I had it standing vertically. And then I used a small aperture light from the other side for a couple of shots. I kind of preferred the final photos that had just the RGB wand lighting it. And then for a couple of the shots, I raised my shutter speed to, I think 5 seconds it was. I'll put it on the screen. But I did this and I used my phone light, the flashlight, and did some light painting behind it for an added element to this picture to make it a little more interesting. I thought it came out fine. It was the first time I've done light painting. It was some good experimentation. So I really liked how these came out. I was really impressed that I was able to do most of it with just the one light. I'll put a link to that in the description. But in the future, I think I'll try this again using a little bit larger of a light source. Maybe I'll move it back. I think this just opens the way to more experimentation. I thought this was some pretty good practice for product photography, especially for a product that I made. Not really a product, I won't sell these, but Peter, if you want one, let me know. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more projects that involve making and photography, and I'll see you then.